So new features, scope creep, feature creep, all these words, client feature creep. Well, it's a big client, a hopeful client creature, whatever. You know, it happens all the time, right? Well, IBM, this is the guy from IBM. I met him at a restaurant. He said if we had this, IBM would move over. Sometimes that's true. Most times it's not. But might get you a foot in the door. So depending on, in terms of figuring out features, what is the core function of what you're selling or what you're providing, right? Think about that. Just think about it. And then you say, okay, what around that? So thinking about with our mouthpiece and our toothbrush, well, you're using it, there are germs in the bathroom. Having something self-sanitizing, a case, something there is very natural for that use case. So I try to stay really close to the use case. Think about this as a bank account. And the better you make those core features and the more people that use them and the more stress tests they become, the more that bank account balance grows. Every time you add a new feature, metaphorically and realistically, you're withdrawing from that bank account, but you're also withdrawing from a brand equity bank account, which means that if you, for example, if Snow went from selling toothbrushes to selling socks, that may cannibalize our brand positioning. So I would say from features, I always look at it, I say, next best affordable. So what do I think's next? I would love if it had this. Well, what's best? Well, let's ask the clients, let's ask the retail buyers, let's ask people, kind of figure out what's going on. Let me Google, let me research, let me see what people are saying, the Amazon reviews, all of this stuff, right? So what's best? Okay. And is it affordable? Because what's next? I want Super Bowl commercial. Is that best? Heck yeah, it's the best. It's the best ad you can get. Is it affordable? Dang it. So that's where you have to, bless you, that's where you have to think about that 3-step in terms of features is who's asking for it? Is it someone on the team's pet project that they really want to push through? Is it something that the client's asking for? Is it something I feel like is a competitive advantage with an early mover advantage that could really change us? I'll give you an example. We use return software, right, for e-commerce, return software. Returns are like the biggest opportunity in e-commerce right now. Returns are nuts. People buy 5 sizes and send all back except the one that fits them. That's how we shop now. 26% of fashion customers doing that. So we have this return software. We were using Happy Returns, which they're all kind of the same. You go and say, I want to return it or exchange it, print the label. Like we've all done that. That's kind of the software, right? So as a merchant, we pay for that software. High switching costs. Once it's on my platform, on my website, why would I change it? Customers are used to it. It's a few $100 a month for the SaaS fee. It's better than doing returns by ourselves manually. Well, there's a platform comes in called Returnly. Returnly has pretty much the same, actually a little more skinned down version of Happy Returns. So Returnly comes in and they have one feature that gets us to switch, gets most people to switch. One feature. Okay, I buy a couple pairs of jeans, I go to refund them, and it says, Josh, we got you. Here's an instant refund. Here's $330 with this code. Instantly, you can shop right now. So what happens is we show the products beneath there at $0 cost because they return $300 worth and they're cashing them in right in here. So essentially, we're recovering the return at a much higher rate. And now we made $30,000 the first month we installed the software. I think we paid $2,000 or $2,000 for it. So, whoa, versus Happy Returns, they were just doing the basics. We jumped over to Happy Returns, who has a tertiary SaaS pricing model, which means they charge a percentage of how much money they recover as well. So not only are they getting paid in all kinds of directions, and I love it. I'm like, more Returnly, I love it. That's when you know a feature hits. And in business, especially B2B, it's generally not around saving money. It's usually around tracking, taking credit for, analyzing, and reporting around money, essentially, one way or another, email opens, et cetera. And when I think about in our business, what are the most sticky things we have are email marketing software, where we talk to our customers. It's very difficult to change that over. Our texting number, we have to change phone numbers when we move providers, sticky. Those are hidden features that the business put in place to make sure that I don't leave very easily once I scale. So golden handcuffs, but I enjoy them, actually. They're golden. So you want to think about that, but you can always add more. Also, keep in mind, it's okay to remove things. There's this bloat that comes because, well, there's 200 people using this thing. And it's like, yeah, but we have to talk about it every week, and we have to put it on the board every week. Can't we just tell these people, sorry, are they going to leave because that thing's not available? So don't be afraid to remove, to add. Give up good, go for great features. Give up the good ones, go for the great ones, and make them better. Become the best at those few features. Returnly sold for $350 million. They weren't profitable. They're 2 years old. To PayPal. And they sold 350 million, huge success story. And it was literally a clone of Happy Returns with one feature added in. And it was built off of Shopify's API, so it wasn't even their own feature. It's a gift card feature that automatically showed a code. $350 million. And I think they just raised a seed round. So those guys, walked away nice. So that's the idea on features, is you don't need the whole Swiss Army knife. Because the way consumers shop today is they get their eyeliner from one brand, their makeup from one brand, their skincare from one brand, their toner, moisturizer, everything is from a different brand. Brow pomade from Anastasia. So that's how the consumer shops, where previously it was, just Neutrogena, all of it, or Olay, all of it. Now people are going to find those specific things. So you just need to say, hello, oral care, big market, we're the whitening cosmetic people. If you've tried strips and stuff like that, come on over here, you have veneers, whatever, we'll help you out. We got Kim Kardashian, she's pretty cool. Like that's the model, and enough people walk by and go, oh yeah, I'm actually interested in whitening. So you just need one thing. Last thing I'll say on that point, 2 more companies to bring up. Death Wish Coffee, Black Rifle Coffee. Coffee, saturated business, saturated market. No one could ever make a coffee business. You have a coffee idea? Don't do it. Well, not true unless you have a good one and you push it all the way through. Black Rifle Coffee, for veterans, by veterans, all of that, right? If you're familiar with them, $1.7 billion public transaction a couple months ago. Literally selling coffee in a bag with pictures of bullets on it and money back to veterans, hiring veterans, and telling that story for years to that audience. And then same coffee, just more caffeine. So it tastes worse and it has a lot of caffeine, $100 million company. So it's just, right, it goes on. It's not easy, right? It's not easy. I've spent the last 6 years, after already being relatively successful for my age in business, selling companies, still took a lot of it, right? But that's me as the solo founder. Now I've got an innovation team, research and development, VP of product development for our products. So now I've got help in that area. But it was really just me and my crazy ideas in this space. And now we're the #1 brand online, more traffic than Crest, Colgate, 45 million shoppers. And so it's exciting, and I'll tell you this, it's worth it. The last thing I'll say is it's worth it. Everywhere I go, but I was somewhere recently, might have been Austin, and I was wearing a Snow hat. And I go, oh, Snow, I love that company. It's a teeth whitening company. She was a hostess at the restaurant. And I sat down for a while. I was like, I don't want to be creepy and be like, oh, yeah, I'm the owner, But I had some product on me, and I was like, that was really nice. Like, that made my day, and I felt like she should have this new product. So I walked over. I was like, hey, I know you don't have this because we haven't come out with this yet. She was like, oh, you work for the company? I was like, yeah, I'm actually the founder. And I was like, cringe, right? But I gave her the product. But it's worth it. I will tell you, we have millions of people who use our products every single day. And we are the most seen oral care brand online now. When people, it's not even me. Like, it's not Josh, it's just a brand. People don't buy because of me. I'm not a Kardashian. They buy because the products work and they love them. But it is really nice to see your innovation. And it's also an interesting process to see your innovation get ripped off. We are the most counterfeited brand in teeth whitening, period. So we supply, probably 50 million plus a year to our counterfeits who rip off our innovation, my ideas. Good news is that I have figured out how to outcompete everybody in terms of the business side of things. So if you keep at it, true innovation will win at the end of it, because they just stole one idea. They didn't steal the idea machine. And that's super important, that for me, I'm okay for my ideas to be taken sometimes. Because by the time they're working on that stuff, I've got 2-3 years ahead of them already. And if you police it well enough, especially in America, you can. But with globalization, If you build something cool, unique, a pop socket, things like that, you're going to get ripped off. But there's some flattery to it, a lot of annoyance, and a lot of money lost there. But for me, it ultimately is worth it. It's worth it to innovate. It feels so good to see a prototype come to life. And focus on, remember, the simple stuff. Focus on, does it function as it's supposed to function? Some things are design features. Others are feature functions, like actual functions, right? Functionality. And that's important for you to have a little bit of fun. Have a little bit of fun with the design pieces that don't cost you a lot of money to implement into the actual product. For example, our app doesn't cost much for me to change the text on there or to make it prettier or to say a nice quote on there. Those are quick ways for us to have those aha moments with customers that don't require completely re-engineering the molds and or doing all of that stuff.